Hey everyone, I've got something a little bit different today. My friends over at DYU sent me this tiny mini e-bike here. Um, this thing's really small, but it has the potential to be a good commuter, inner city commuter, great on college campuses, and honestly, probably really good for kids. So I'm throwing that out there in the beginning. If that's something you're interested in, follow along. We're going to take this out of the box, look it over, and charge it and take it out for a test ride. We'll see how it does. This little guy is so tiny. Um, all you got to do is put in your seat. Um, this comes wrapped up. We'll just lower that all the way down for now, and just to keep it out of the way. You've got a box here. In this box will be your pedals and your charger. Little charger there, pair of pedals, and it comes with a little toolkit here. So that's something you can carry with you. And your manual here, which looks to be about 8 or 10 pages. To put the bars up on this bike, you just simply lift the riser here. This comes up until it stops. You squeeze this, lock it into place, and then on this side you've got this slot here, and this little guy here is supposed to slide around and go into that slot so that there's no chance that this could be inadvertently pushed and your bars opened up. So that's the locking system for the steering. When you get the bike, your tail light will be tucked up underneath here. They do that for shipping, because if it were stuck out here on the rear, it's likely that it would get broken. So this is just one of the really only 3 things that you've got to put together here. Just got a couple little 10 millimeter nuts. Put that through the mount, and then put these back on and tighten them up. When you first get the bike, these will be flipped back. I'm not exactly sure why that is, to tell you the truth. Seems like they could mount these easy enough. But you'll have an Allen here, and you've got your tool over here. Just pick the appropriate size. And so it's just that easy. Just do that on either side, and your fender will be mounted. If you come up here, your bars were rotated down for shipping. So just loosen this. It's just like your seat. It's a quick release. Your bars will rotate up. You want them in about that position. That's where I like them. And then you lock this back down, and you're good to go. Okay, here's the little guy all together. That took all of about 5 or 6 minutes to assemble. Absolutely nothing to it. Anybody can do that. Even kids, I think. So this has little tiny 14-inch wheels, front and rear. Mags, as you can see, no spokes. The bike is rated to do 15 miles per hour as a max speed. And the entire bike weighs about 44 pounds. So very light compared to other e-bikes that I normally review and all. They say it'll climb a 15% grade, but I would suspect that you're gonna pretty much want to keep this on level ground. I don't think it has a whole lot of power for pulling you up big hills. It's only got a 350 watt motor. But that makes it so that it is a legal bike in many parts of the world. It is a DYU produced motor, 36 volt, 350 watt. I want to put this bike on the scale and see what it actually weighs.
Imagine the thrill of getting your weight guessed by a professional.
Just to confirm the weight. Here we are with the bike hanging, and we're showing 45.8 pounds. So close to claim weight. That's not bad. This is an all steel frame, and there is no suspension with this bike, but it does have a sprung seat here. So that gives you a lot of cushion. That, along with the really super cushy top of this seat, should be a pretty smooth ride. So here's a look of the bike hanging. And everything looks good. All the cable routing looks good. That's on the bottom side here. This is what I was talking about. If you were going to remove the battery, you'd have to take these two bolts out and then slide the battery out this way. So it's not really made to be removed on any regular basis, at least. And here's the braking system. This little bike has a 36 volt, 7.5 amp hour battery, and the charger is 1.5 amp hour. They say that this bike has a range of about 20 miles with pedal assist, or about 10 to 15 miles with throttle only. So if you've got a 5-mile commute, you should be able to come and go from work on one charge, which would be nice. The maximum load for this, they say, is 265 pounds. Come up here and take a look at the bars. You have a little protector for shipping that comes over your on-off switch right here. So if you hold this on, these little lights on the right will come on here. And there are 5 lights, I believe, 4 lights. And right now it's showing 3. So we're at about, a 75% charge on the battery right now. We do have a right-hand throttle here. The cable routing on this bike's really nice. Very little up above here. Comes down through the riser, comes out the side here, and then tucks under the main tube. So very out of the way and works nicely. I'm not sure how many lumens this headlight is, but it is an LED light, as is the tail light. The bike is a single speed. There's no shifting involved. You basically use the throttle and you pedal when you feel you need it. So coming up here to the bars again, we've got a light here. So if you hold this button down, then your headlights come on. Need to turn that down a little. And your tail light comes on. So pretty nice there. If you hold the brake lever in, then your rear light flashes. That's for a warning sign for braking. If you come up and hold this button down, then your lights will turn back off. So coming to the back again, you no longer have a lit tail light, but when you push the brakes, then you've got a brake light, and that flashes again. Because this bike is just so tiny and only does 15 miles an hour, this has mechanical disc brakes. So you've got a cable coming from each of your levers here. So your cable comes down to each caliper. So again, here on the front, you've got a cable actuated brake caliper and a 160 millimeter rotor. The tread on these tires looks real good. Looks like that will be pretty grippy in all situations. The little mag wheels on these are steel. Everything's steel, rack, frame, everything. So the fact that it weighs just 45 or thereabout pounds is pretty surprising. As with all e-bikes, I would recommend that you put this flat out into the tubes. That way you'll never get a flat on this bike. If you look here, the rear rack, the top of it is 16 inches. So panniers probably aren't going to work well on this because it's just so low to the ground. But a bag here or a basket here would work nicely for carrying things. This bike does not have folding pedals. You could add those for just a few dollars, And if you added folding pedals, then when you folded this entire bike up, it could be extremely tiny and easy to get into your car. Looks like with the seat post extended all the way, your seat height is right about 33.5 inches. The reason I'm thinking this would be great for kids as well is that with the seat all the way down, your seat height is about 27 inches. So that's very low, and even some pretty small kids would find that comfortable. If you look on the left side of the bike here, there's a little charge port right here, and that's where you're going to charge your battery. So you just take the plug it in there, and then plug in your charger, and you'll be good to go. One thing I did notice is that this battery is not made to be removed out of this frame. You'd have to take a bunch of things apart to get to it to remove it. So I'm sure their thinking is that this entire bike is so tiny that you can just fold down the bars, collapse the seat, and carry this wherever you need to go to recharge it. So very, very portable, and for that reason the battery does not remove from the bike. With the chain guards on this, you won't have to worry about catching your pants leg. Everything's very well protected. So what we're going to do is get this thing charged up, and we'll take it out for a ride. That's what we're all most interested in. Let's see how this thing does out on a bike path, and see how many miles we can get out of it before we lose our battery power. So stick around and we'll get this charged and get it on the trail. So my plan is to just use the throttle for the majority of this ride, and we'll just go out the path a few miles here, turn around and come back and see what we think of it. let's go and climb a few more hills here. I'm going to be pedaling a little bit on these just because they are steeper, but it's probably important to show you what you can go up with this little bike. Not all cities are completely flat. Alright, so my thoughts on this little tiny mini bike are this. I think even though it's not marketed for kids, I think it's an outstanding little bike for smaller kids. Not too small, but with such a low seat height, a lot of little kids can ride this. I think if you weighed under 100 pounds, this thing would really be a lot of fun because it would have so much more pickup and all of that. I'm a little bit over 190 pounds, and this you know, it gets me around, don't get me wrong, but it's slow, and I think it would probably have some decent pickup if you didn't weigh very much. So I'm gonna recommend it for kids, recommend it for students who just need to get around like a university campus. I think it'll work really well for that. You're not going to be going too fast anyway, because you're going to be dodging people and cars and all that stuff. So 10 to 15 miles an hour would probably be just fine. And you know, throw one of these in the back of your RV and get around the campground, that kind of thing. I think it'd work great for that sort of thing. So cool little bike. It is, I think, literally the cheapest one you can buy on Amazon. DYU is a respected e-bike company. They've been around a long time. I can't address the customer service that they have. I don't know what that's like, but they've been nice to deal with in my experience. So it is essentially a scooter with a seat. That's how I think of this, as one of those little stand-up scooters with a seat attached. So if you're thinking about getting a scooter as well, this doesn't weigh much more, and it would probably be a lot more comfortable for just running around town or campus or that kind of thing. So consider this. It's an interesting little bike, very different from what I normally test, but you know, it's fun to get out on, and it has a place. Definitely uses for a bike like this, and a lot of people just don't want to spend a lot of money. This thing is, I believe, with shipping currently, is about $369 on Amazon, right in that area. So very inexpensive, less expensive than some of the electric scooters. Hey, but anyway, thanks for checking this little thing out with me. It was fun, and I'll see you on the next one.